Recess Queen by Alexis O'Neill, illustrated by Laura Wiliska Beath. Mean Jean was Recess Queen, and nobody said any different. Nobody swung until Mean Jean swung. Nobody kicked until Mean Jean kicked. Nobody bounced until Mean Jean bounced. If kids ever crossed her, she'd push 'em and smush 'em, lollapaloosh 'em, hammer 'em, slammer 'em, kits and kajammer 'em. Say what? Mean Jean growled. Say who? Mean Jean howled. Say you. Just who do you think you're talking to? Mean Jean always got her way. Until one day. A new kid came to school. Katie Sue. A teeny kid. A tiny kid. A kid you might scare with a jump and a boo. But when the recess bell went ringety ring, this kid ran zingety zing for the playground gate. Katie swung before Mean Jean swung. Katie Sue kicked before Mean Jean kicked. Katie Sue bounced before Mean Jean bounced. The kid you might scare with a jump and a boo was too new to know about Mean Jean, the recess queen. Well, Mean Jean bullied through the playground crowd. Like always, she pushed kids and smushed kids, lollapalooshed kids, hammered 'em, slammered 'em, and kits and kajammered 'em. As she charged after that Katie Sue. Say what? She growled. Say who? She howled. Say you. She snarled and grabbed Katie Sue by the collar. Nobody swings until Queen Jean swings. Nobody kicks until Queen Jean kicks. Nobody bounces until Queen Jean bounces. And she figured that would set the record straight. She figured wrong. Katie Sue talked back. Just as sassy as could be, she said, "How did you get so bossy?" Then that puny thing, that loony thing, grabbed the ball and bounced away. Oh, Katie Sue was a quick kid. She bolted quick as lightning. Bouncity, bouncity, bounce. Kickity, kick. Swingity, swingity, swing. Mean Jean thundered close behind. Bouncity, kickity, swingity. The recess queen was not amused. She raced and chased, and in your face that Katie Sue. No one spoke, no one moved, no one breathed. Then from her pack pulled Katie Sue a jump rope clean and bright. "Hey, Jeanie Beanie," sang Katie Sue, "let's try this jump rope out. Here's one thing true until that day, no one dared ask Mean Jean to play." But that Katie Sue just hopped and jumped and skipped away. "I like ice cream, I like tea, I want Jean to jump with me." Jean just gaped and stared, as if too scared to move at all. So Katie Sue sang once more. "I like popcorn, I like tea, I want Jean to jump with me." Then from the side a kid called out, "Go, Jean, go!" And too surprised to even shout, Jean jumped in with Katie Sue. "I like cookies, I like tea, I want you to jump with me." The rope whizzed and slapped faster and faster. The rope spun and flapped faster and faster. till it caught in a tangled disaster. But they just giggled and jumped again. Well, now when recess rolls around, that playground's one great place. At the school bell's ringety ring, those two girls race ziggity zing out the classroom door. Jean doesn't push kids and smush kids. Lollapaloosh kids hammer 'em, slammer 'em, kits and kajammer 'em. Because she's having too much fun rompity romping with her friends. Bouncity, kickity, swingity, hoppity, skippity, jumpity, ringity, zingity. Yes. Hi, boys and girls. In the story The Recess Queen, our main character, Jean, seems to be in the red. She, to me, has a lot of energy, but also low levels of pleasantness. Our other main character, Katie Sue, also seems to have high energy, but a little bit higher levels of pleasantness. So when I think about the difference between the two girls, I think about how are they regulating their emotions. In one case, we have the ability to regulate our emotions by using strategies and things that we like to do that help us feel like we are in the yellow or the green. And our main character, Jean, is using not helpful strategies that keep us in the red and the blue. So, regulating emotions are about how do we feel and how do we manage those feelings. For example, if I'm in the red or the blue, how do I move to the blue, to the green, or the red to the yellow? How do I make myself feel better when I want to feel higher levels of pleasantness? So, some of the things that I would do might be read a book, might be take a walk, maybe watch a little bit of television, or play a few minutes of video games, or sometimes it might just be a quiet break. And one thing that always helps me regulating my emotions if I'm feeling in the red or the blue is calling a loved one, whether it be a family member or a friend. So there are helpful strategies like the ones I listed, and there are unhelpful strategies. And sometimes they make you feel a little bit better, but in the long run, they're unhelpful because they're not going to help the situation. So we see Jean, the recess queen, she's using what we call unhelpful strategies. She is doing things like not keeping her hands to herself, saying mean things, screaming and yelling at others. Now, if she's feeling in the red, that might make her feel better in that split second. But at the end of the day, she's outside not playing with her friends, and her classmates are kind of waiting around. So it's not really a good situation for anybody. So we meet Katie Sue, and she starts to introduce some helpful strategies. And at first, Jean was a little bit taken aback. But once she realized that she could play with her new friend, she was able to start enjoying recess more, which helped her enjoy recess more and helped her classmates enjoy recess more. So I want us to think about today, what are some strategies that you can think of when you're feeling in the red or the blue to move you to the yellow or the green? So here's a list of just a few things. I mentioned some of mine that are personal to me. Think about how you feel. Sometimes just understanding how you feel helps. Naming that feeling. Talk calmly about the problem or feeling with a loved one or a friend. Take a deep breath. Sometimes just taking a moment to say, can help. Ask for help or ask for a hug from a family member or a friend. Sometimes just taking a pause and getting a drink of water. I know when we're at school, that's one strategy that I recommend to students, just taking a little break to get some water. Giving yourself some space from others. Now, that doesn't mean don't talk about your feelings to others, but sometimes a little bit of quiet time alone helps us to think about how we're feeling and maybe come up with our own list of things that help us to regulate our emotions and help us feel better. Positive self talk, that to me is an important one. Give yourself a compliment. Repeat nice things to yourself. What's something that's good about you? And meditate. That goes back to giving ourselves space from others, just taking a moment, do some deep breathing, and think about how you're feeling. So, today, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about our characters. Jean, who was using some not helpful strategies to regulate emotions, and how things changed once she started using some helpful strategies, like playing with a friend. Come up with your list. I gave you a little bit of mine, and then I'd like you to write that list down. Because once you write that list down, that can be another strategy for when you're feeling upset or you're feeling in the red or the blue. You can go to that list and you can say to yourself, these are the things that help me feel better. Boys and girls, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.